right, welcome back, guys. So today I have another episode for you, and I'm just gonna show you something that you are to expect as you move from the honey season going into what we call a dirt period, or pretty much going into the summer period where you're gonna be experiencing a lot of heat. Now during this time, you're gonna find that a lot of times the colony during the honey flow, the peak flow, they've expanded the brood a lot, which means that you have to pretty much pay attention to space and management of the colonies closely, just to ensure that they don't abscond. And this that I'm going to show you right now is just something to show you that when you look in, as you as you see the behavior happening with the bees, you know exactly what is happening and how to deal with the problem to keep everything how it should be going into the dirt period. All right, so come guys, let's have a look. And yeah, as you can see today, I don't have any really hard gear because I'm not going into the hive today. I'm just giving you guys a sneak peek, a good look. And pretty much my bees that I have here, they are not as aggressive as most persons' bees are, except with the exception of one box. And yeah, so they will allow you to come in the apiary without too much of a protective gear on, but you can never really predict the behavior of the bees. So this is why I'm just wearing this part here today. All right, so come guys, come have a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this that you're looking at here is one of the boxes, and if you look right at the edge here, you realize that the bees are pretty much hanging on the side of the box. So typically in this case, you want to be thinking about one of two things here. One, it can be a case where the box is overcrowded and they need space to work, which I think about last week I gave them additional space on this box, so I know that's not the case. So the next option that you're gonna have in mind and to bear in mind is that the time gets hot as well. So in order to alleviate the heat that's in the box, sometimes you'll see a lot of the guys standing right at the back of the edge, at the edge of the entrance there. See the guard bees fanning, and then if it's still too hot, you'll see that they go out and they start bearding. This option that you're seeing that they're doing here is called bearding. So they hang off at the edge of the box, and it's pretty much all the excess bees that's in the box. They come out and they hang off at the edge of the box. So there are a couple ways that you can handle bearding. For one, obviously you would want to give more space, but if they have space, then if your entrance is reduced, which if you look at this one, it's not reduced at the moment though, then you would ensure that the entrance is fully open to allow more bees to go and come, as well as to have more space to fan. So the next thing that you'd want to do in mind, if you look right just to the side here, and I'm going to pan out a little bit, you're gonna see this bottom board here, and this bottom board is what we call a screen or a mesh bottom board. This in this instance is what you would use to help alleviate the heat that's in the box. So if you realize that you have a hard wood bottom and the bees are still bearding, then what you can do, you can swap out that bottom for a mesh screen bottom, and that will allow more air to come into the box, and that will help alleviate the problem of bearding. But typically anytime you see that the bees are doing this, it's nothing to be alarmed, but you just want to check to ensure that they have enough space, and if the box that they are is too hot. Let me just pan out back and look at the location, because location is also important as well. If you have the bees where they're in direct sunlight, and if you look at where I am now, I'm directly under a tree. If the bees are in direct sunlight, then what you're gonna see that's happening is that the box get too hot, and if the box is too hot, then you want to change the location. But typically when you're in a shaded area where they have access to the sun, what you want to do is to change out to a screen bottom board, and yeah, that would be much more easier for the bees, much more easier for you too, because if the box get too hot, that can also lead to them absconding the hive, and you don't really want to be working so much hard in summer to be losing bees just because of something as small and easy to rectify. So just wanted to point that out to you guys, that whenever you see that, it's nothing to be alarmed. These are the steps or the methods that you would take in order to prevent your bees from bearding too much and yeah, keeping the box cool. Typically also what you'll see is that during the hot time as well, you need to also ensure that you have a water source, and I'm gonna be doing a video on that soon to show you how easy it is to create a water source. And what the bees will do is that foragers will go out to a water source and they will pretty much take up the water and they'll come back into the hive with the water, disperse it in there in order to help bring down the temperature of the hive. So if you go out and you see a bees taking a drink somewhere else of some water source, it's nothing for you to be alarmed about. It's just that their way of cooling down the hive. Now what you would want to do typically when you have bees that with going out and getting water source from anywhere is that you want to ensure that whatever water source they're getting clean water source. So that is the importance of why you would want to get your own water source where the bees are going to get the water from. So it helps in that case because you don't want bees getting water from certain sources like gutters or certain places where water source may have chemical in it too, because then that is not going to help the problem as well. So in the future I will go into details about how to create a proper water source for your bees, and that way pretty much that will help deal with some of the problems that you're gonna have, some of the preparations that you need in summer in order to ensure that your hive stay healthy and your hive make it through. And then as it gets down to a certain point, you go into splitting where you can pretty much bring up the numbers of hives that you have. I will be doing some splitting videos soon, guys, so you wanna stay tuned for that. And let me just get some footage here of what it's like seeing the bees going in and out.